Hello everyone and welcome to a new YouTube video. In this YouTube video, I'll be interviewing my former client Sherwin. I coached him for around 3 months and we helped him optimize his health and performance, but you'll hear all about that and all the value he has to share and the things he learned. Um, yeah, so that's basically the video. Sherwin, do you want to give a short introduction? What do you do? Where you're from?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. First of all, thank you for having me. Um, I've had an crazy three past months. A lot has changed for me, physically and mentally, and of course, yeah, for my health. Um, so I'm Sharon. Currently, I've been in e-commerce for the last 1 year. Before e-commerce, I was fully into crypto and stock market trading. And since the last 1 year, I'm just trying to become the best possible version of myself, and I've been chasing that goal, and that's why I've also switched from a career. Like
Yeah.
I'm trying a new business model, e-commerce, and it's working out very good, and I'm enjoying it to its full potential. Um, and yeah, last 3 months I had the opportunity to work with Stefan, to work with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and maybe to get into that, what actually got you into entrepreneurship? Because of course, one of the parts that we talked about is your story, mission, and vision, which we have something I think cool to share in the physical meeting we had. But what actually made you go to entrepreneurship? Because I still remember that you first had a normal job, but then you get
Exactly.
into crypto. But maybe you could share like what got you into entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So I always had this feeling like, okay, let's start from the beginning. When I was younger, my dad he was also into entrepreneurship. So we used to sell things on the market. So we would go to France, go to the whole ship, the how do
Yeah,
you
the
say this?
wholesaler, I think it's
The
called.
wholesalers,
Yeah.
and then we would just look for products like earrings and everything. Like we could get them for like 5 cents, I believe, and then we would buy them in bulk. He had this big Mercedes car which we could fully stash with all the products, and then we would drive to France, get the products, then come back to the Netherlands, and then just sell on the market. So I was like, how old was I? I was
You were
like
already doing e-commerce,
exactly.
like
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. I was 11, 12 years old when we first
yeah,
started going to the market. Before that, he did all kinds of things. So he was a big inspiration for me, and that's also how my love for entrepreneurship got tickled. You know.
yeah,
So then, of course, I started studying as well, and I was like, yeah, studying is cool, but I'm not like I did some work on the side. I also worked in the food scene, food sector. So I was a chef.
yeah,
um, and I came to the conclusion that like working for a boss was not what I wanted to do my whole life. I didn't want. I wasn't put in this life to mm, just be average, you know. And there's nothing wrong or good about being. I'm saying this as average, as like a biased thing, you know. But
yeah,
it's like easier for me to explain that the common man or common female
yeah,
women,
yeah,
and I wanted to be different, and I've always felt different. Like I just want to chase big dreams, you know.
yeah,
So when I graduated for my Bachelor of Science, I had my dream job. It was like 3 months. I was working for a big design company in Rotterdam, and yeah, they're doing all the big stuff for Coolblue, Rijksmuseum, everything. And I had it, man.
yeah,
Good salary, good people around me, very inspiring work ethics, and but didn't feel good. So all these years, I've been studying my ass off to uh, I don't know, have a good job, have stability in my life. And then after 3 months, I was like, I'm not going to do this. Cut the bullshit and continue with entrepreneurship. And I was also running my little design agency next to it. I was just a sole proprietary. I don't know how you
Yeah,
say it.
it's a
I was
difficult word,
I was
yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
I was on my own. I was on my own.
Yeah.
But I had some good big clients, and it was working out well for me. Like I could pay my monthly salary. Um, Next to it, I was with a friend and a cousin of mine. I was running a food truck in the Corona period. It was, I believe. We made a whole concept where we were selling Indian food to people, and they were loving it. Every day we were sold out. So we did
Whoa.
that for like 2 months, and made some good cash as well. But then we stopped it because there was no bigger plan. It was just all for fun. And next to that, I was also running my business in stock market and crypto.
Yeah.
And the change came when I saw the bigger money coming in. So all these business models that I've been trying, testing, they were, I don't know, it was just an average salary that I could pay myself.
Yeah.
So let's say 3 4K. But like when I saw the bigger money, like I remember talking to my dad, and then one time I said like, "Yo, I just traded like 20 30K this weekend." Maybe I need to switch something because I was doing so much, and I was running to a burnout because I was doing so much.
Yeah.
So I had to cut everything. So I quit the job, quit the food truck. I quit the design agency thing that I was setting up. I quit everything and I started focusing on crypto only.
Yeah.
Um, and from there, like, um, because I was seeing these big numbers, um, that's when it got printed in my veins. I
Yeah.
could not get the bigger picture out of me anymore. So that is why yeah, till this day, I'm still that's how my love for entrepreneurship has grown so immensely big.
Yeah. Yeah, but I also feel that entrepreneurship is one of the biggest personal development vehicles there is because you need to be a better person in order to get more results with your business. Because if you, for example, have trouble leading people or you have trouble with staying focused, then you need to solve those issues in order to get to the next level of your business. Otherwise, it just doesn't really work. So for me, it's the same. It's yeah, it's been such a fun ride over the past few years, and especially if you, well, I can. I first wanted to ask you the question like, how was your life before we started working? I can still ask you this question, but it's also fun to always look at like where were you 1 year ago? Because I just came back from my yearly review, and I thought this year that I had grown, but I didn't feel like I had grown as much as the years
Mm.
before that. But when I did my review and I started looking at the things I wrote down December last year and how my mental models were, how I was thinking, then I thought, holy shit, I've made such a increase in my own personal development again. But you only see that when you reflect back. So that's a fun question for you. How was your life like 1 year ago?
This is a good question, and I completely feel what you're saying. Um, as entrepreneurs, we tend to live in some kind of rush. Just doing, and at the end of the road, we reflect and actually see like what has actually happened. And for me, I started this year off just coming out of crypto and making the switch to e-commerce. That was already a big step for me. Um, and basically, I started at zero. So for me, it only could get better or even worse. I could have been sleeping on the streets right now because I'm all or nothing. It's all in or nothing at all.
Yeah.
But um, it's so crazy to see the progress I've made over the past year. So I've literally gone from zero to running. I I haven't hit a million in revenue, but it's a million business I'm running right now. So the
Yeah.
numbers are there, and to reflect on that and realize that that's what I've grown to over this year only. That's
Yeah.
insane, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep telling myself like, yo, you've done it again.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but just a
Yeah.
different business model. And the the problem for me always was that I did not have like mental clarity and a good vision of where I was going to. So
Yeah.
every time I started a business model, like it worked, but then I came to some sort of threshold because I did not have any experience beyond that threshold on how to sustain my business or even scale it further. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned this year.
Yeah.
That actually, because I'm not running a business model anymore, I've been networking. So that's been progress. My network is insane right now. If there's a problem, I can just knip or call in my anyone in my network, and the problem can be fixed. So
Yeah.
that's a great, um, that's a positive thing. And also, the thing I've come to a realization that all these past years, after my journey with P Club, before my journey with P Club, all these years I've been living in some sort of what I said earlier, rush. So I've been continuously. I had the feeling that I was on all the time. I was restless, bad sleeping quality. I even went to the doctor multiple times, like, yo doc, I'm having trouble sleeping. Sometimes I would sleep like 2 hours a night.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. And because I was always thinking in my head, like
Yeah.
thinking, and throughout the day I would endure like dizziness and so much stress on my body, and I couldn't place it. And the biggest progress for me has been the last 3 months that I have optimized my nutritions, um, optimized my routines, especially the routines, and it gave me so much clarity. And like right now, as I'm going through the day, um, sometimes I just, on the side, I quit eating gluten, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
And sometimes, um, when there's a moment that we're having once a month a small junk meal
Yeah.
with gluten in it, then my whole gut system feels so messed up,
Yeah.
And that's when I realized, like, I have been living all these years with this feeling,
Yeah.
and my body just completely turned off the feeling, but it was there, and I was completely under stress all the time. And the the thing that um, um, opened up my eyes was like, how could I have done this? I know what kind of work I've been putting in, which is a lot, and under these stress conditions, that's crazy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for me to realize and reflect now on it and see, like, yo, the last 3 months have completely turned this around into a state that I'm healthy. I think I feel healthy. I feel full of energy, and I can even my output has become more effective. Let's say
Yeah. Yeah.
it's greater. So there's less input, more output. I have more time to hang out with with family. Consistent training and everything, without having the feeling that I need to
That
work,
you,
work, 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 work.
yeah, yeah, that you're always behind something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I still have the
Yeah.
feeling, though, to be honest,
Yeah,
that
of course. Yeah.
but it's a learning. It's progress.
Yeah, and I think also the point you touched upon, like you were going to the doctors and you wanted to get help with sleep. And that's what I see with so many people right now is that they think the doctor is the cure for everything. And I'm not saying that, like, of course, I had an ear infection in the summer. I also went to the doctor. Like, I'm not going to say that I have some sort of natural remedy for that I have to take an antibiotics. But
Yeah,
my personal mission is to show people like you can be in control of your health. If you fix things in your lifestyles, for example, with sleep, you start wearing blue light blocking glasses and you don't have the blue light that will fuck up with your circadian rhythm. You have a routine that's winding you down. Nine times out of 10, that will already fix your sleep issues. And sure, like there might be people that really have some deep rooted issues, but what I see with coaching people 9 times out of 10, first look at the basics. And if you fix those, you already fixed 80% of what you need to do. And then think also what you're saying. It's so important that people are not even aware how they are feeling. And if you're not aware of how you're feeling, then
exactly.
you might think that where you're at right now is an 8 or a 9. But once you start implementing some things, you actually see that that 8 or 9 was only a 6 or a 5. And that's when things really start to change. Like I get it so many times from clients, especially with the eating low carb, that they say, "Yeah, I've heard you talk about it in a YouTube video or at an event." And I always thought
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, those guys with the carbs, it doesn't really matter. Then they try it out themselves and then they eat bread like at lunch maybe once and then they immediately feel like, oh, my mental clarity is down, my energy is down. So that's yeah, it's fun to see. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And so you said some things about health. What were like specific things you were running into before we started coaching?
So basically, my main problems were sleeping. That was one. So I always thought like I'm so stressed during the day because my sleeping is bad,
Yeah,
you know. But it turned out that my sleep it's not my sleeping, it's it's my nutrition's.
yeah,
So we did the DNA tests
yeah,
and some intolerance tests,
yeah,
and it turned out that curcuma was one of the substances that my body reacts negatively on.
yeah,
Things like caffeine and what else? Watermelon, for instance.
yeah,
Like watermelon was my number one favorite food. I even have
yeah.
watermelon posters on here, and my nickname in Discord and all the communities is
Yeah.
Watermelon. So but crazy. And then the intolerance test, it turned out that there's some kind of um, enzyme in watermelon
Yeah,
that is on my top five no goes
yeah,
for
yeah,
my body. But if you don't know this, then you keep eating it and you keep
yeah,
feeling like shit, or it's
yeah,
possible that you feel like shit. Um, and it turns out that there's this so small thing that needs to be changed,
yeah,
which makes you feel a lot
yeah.
better.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because if I can pitch into that, if
yeah,
you eat foods that are not right for your body, like your body is going into this inflammation reaction, and that actually causes you to, for example, at 3 p.m., have a full head, you can't focus anymore, or put extra stress on your body. And
exactly.
like apart from lifestyle things, one of the things we of course did, which I wanted to ask you about, is test like what is right for my body. So a DNA test, intolerance test, microbiome test to find out, okay, for my body, what is the best thing I can do? And then change those simple things. And it's not, people hearing this will probably think, oh, this is like a quick hack to get more energy. And in some ways it is.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's good that you said it. But what did you want to say?
yeah. So
I think I interrupted.
it was like that in combination with how do you eat throughout the day.
Yeah,
So your carbs, they they're like these energy suckers. Like
yeah,
especially if you eat them in the morning and during the your midday. So with my DNA test also came that I was intolerant or had, my body has problems with digesting um, animal protein.
yeah,
So what I did was together with you, we cut out. Um, these proteins. We switched to plant-based protein, no carbs during the morning and during the midday. And this optimization gave me the best results so
Yeah.
far
Yeah.
because my focus is super sharp. I don't need to think about waking up, directly taking my breakfast, and then directly feeling this small dip. When you
Yeah.
eat your breakfast, you're like, okay, I'm full. Let's sit and do some
Yeah.
work. No, this time it's like I wake up, I hydrate myself, I come to my desk, and I'm full of energy. So I'm
Yeah.
not like this. So okay, let's go to work. But I'm like this. Okay, what do we need to do?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And this mental clarity, focus, and energy I have throughout the day instead of specific moments on the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this in combination with the right nutrition for my body specifically was the perfect combination to that was the quick hack
Yeah.
actually, but it took some time,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, but that's if you look at like generic health advice and you go on YouTube and you search for the best diet. Like you get 10 diets or 20 or 40 diets. The
yeah,
carnivore diet, the Atkins diet, the keto diet. And the thing is, what we also did together is through a DNA test, find out, okay, what is actually right for your body. So, for example,
exactly.
I also can digest proteins as well. So for me, it's also better. I also eat not as much meat as I did before. I take some enzymes to ensure that I'm actually breaking down the proteins. And that's really, if people are listening to this, do a DNA test, find out what is right for your body. Because if you see Paul Saladino talking about the carnivore diet, it might work for you. It might not also work. It might also not work for you. And that's what you can find out through, yeah, DNA test.
Testing, yeah, 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 exactly. That's what it is because for me, next to the gluten, well, I thought I was eating the right things.
Yeah.
But still I was feeling like complete shit. So
Yeah.
so something was wrong, and through
Yeah.
testing we came to the conclusion that um, there were just some nutritions we needed to switch around.
Yeah.
And like for instance, saturated fats, I believe it is.
Yeah.
For some people it's good to take them during the morning, but my
Yeah.
body is extremely bad at at
Yeah.
taking
Yeah.
these fats.
Yeah.
So
I think we started with bulletproof coffee, right? And it didn't really
exactly. And I
sit
was
well
like,
with you.
"Yo, Stefan, is this right? Because I'm having
Yeah.
these stomach aches, like they're
Yeah.
really making me feel bad."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
after the test came in, we were like, "Oh wait,
Now it
this
makes
might be
sense.
the
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly." So
Yeah.
that's what I also would recommend people listening. Like,
Yeah.
um, some people might say a keto diet is the best to do or a good thing to test, but if your body's not capable of handling it and processing it, making it actually worse,
Yeah.
then you can try keto, but it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and this is just a simple example, but the main point is, or the message out of this is, test what works for you
Yeah.
and know what your body is made of, what it can handle, and how you need to treat it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I attest to that. Yeah. And apart from the health optimization we did, so we optimized your sleep, your nutrition. We also talked about your workouts and your day planning. I also, if you're open to it, want to touch upon the
Sure,
physical coaching session we did, and yeah,
sure.
maybe tell people what we did there and how that changed your yeah your viewpoint at life.
Yeah, exactly. So um, this was actually a good meeting because it completely changed the game for me.
Yeah.
It flipped everything upside down. But as I started my e-commerce journey, um, what I wanted to do is I wanted to become the shit. I wanted to run businesses, make money, help my family, friends, and just build an environment full of love and wealth. But as I grew, um, a lot of opportunities came on my path, which were good opportunities. But for instance, helping other people. I want to help other people because I want to show them like, hey, there's more in life, more to life than the simple matrix,
Yeah. Yeah.
just so to say. Um, but I realized that not everyone is open to having these kind of conversations, or how do you say this? Not everyone is capable of feeling that it's possible to break out.
Yeah.
And mm, as my journey went on, I came across coaching students to start their own business in e-commerce and grow it. But taking that path completely took me off my own path, and which was building this environment full of love and wealth, and being there for my family, and becoming the shit.
Yeah.
So as I went by, we had this conversation about, hey, um, what is the where does your motivation really come from? So what's the thing that makes you burn, like, or not burn, but makes you
Yeah. Yeah. What makes you burn? Like where you have
like,
this burning feeling of, yeah, let's get it.
let's go, let's get
Yeah.
it, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I thought that it was through helping other people, but the reality turned out that as I was helping other people, what I was mostly doing is kicking people's butts and making sure they would um, do their work,
Yeah.
and like, and then I was like, yo, this is not what I want to do. I'm not inspiring people. Like, they see me as inspiring, but for me it's only burning energy.
Yeah.
And there were like, from the 20 students, there were 5 students that really wanted to go and really wanted to perform, and um, that gave me good energy. But most of the students, you know it was not in line with my vision.
Yeah.
And as I continued, I saw my business suddenly collapsing. So um, I was making losses. And then in my direct uh, social environment, I saw the connections between me and other people worsen,
Yeah.
and I couldn't place it until we had the conversation. So I came to a certain threshold that I always
Yeah.
come to, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs come to, that they're just doing something without actually reflecting on what you're doing and where you're growing towards.
Yeah.
So you lose yourself into doing a thing, not knowing if it really is in line with where you want to grow to. And we had the conversation about the motivational, or wait, the 4 M's of motivation.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure you know them better than I
Yeah.
am, but it was motivation out of your social context, motivation out of the money thing. So status,
Yeah. Yeah.
status was the thing.
Yeah.
Uh, 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 Materialism
Yeah.
was one of the motivations, and
And freedom.
freedom,
Yeah.
exactly. So you asked me the question, like, if you hear these 4 M's of motivation, what are the 2 things that motivate you the most of them?
Yeah.
Then I came to the conclusion that it's not status, it's not materialism, it's actually the socialness around me and
Yeah.
freedom.
Yeah.
And then I was reflecting on what I was doing right now. I was actually coaching. I'm still coaching because I do like it,
Yeah.
but not as much anymore as I do. Um, but at that point, it didn't give me the freedom that I wanted, you know?
Yeah.
So it was very logical and obvious that my energy was draining because I put myself into a position where I wasn't chasing this freedom anymore.
Yeah.
And then next to that, the second M from motivation that came from my social surroundings, I came to the conclusion that actually the social surroundings, they were the connections with these people, the quality became worse. So I didn't have enough time to connect
Mhm.
with them. I didn't even have time to call my mother once a week, like, yo, hey, how are you doing and everything.
Yeah.
Um, so that turned my mind around. And I was like, okay, I need to sit down, reflect on what the heck I'm doing. Because this is not, if I continue this, then my business is collapsing. The
Yeah.
relationships with the people around me are collapsing. And I will feel like complete shit. So I turned this around. I was like, okay, I need to fix this right now. What do I need to do? I need to strengthen the relationships with the people around me because that is what gives me energy. And I need to do something which gives me the feeling that I'm chasing my freedom. So the logical step was cut the coachings, implement the systems so I could regulate my uh, working hours
Yeah.
without overworking and being full into my working, and make more time for my social environment to connect with them.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what I did. So I just planned into my busy scheme that I had calls every week with my little brother, with my mother, and everything. I had at least one moment with my girlfriend to do something fun. Um, at least connect two times with close friends that I see once in a month or once in 2 months. And this literally boosted everything. Like
Yeah.
such a small thing. Like my
Yeah.
mother was sending me lovely messages like, hey, thank you for this message. And even my father was like, hey, he was trying to connect with me, like, hey, what are you doing? And how are you feeling? My girlfriend was starting to ask more questions and be more involved with what I was doing. So everything was feeling better. And then
Yeah.
I also got on the coachings, which gave me more opportunity to work on my own business, which immediately resulted into positive growth of my business. Where I was making losses, I was now growing again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was only through like knowing what motivates me
Yeah.
and what the heck I want in
Yeah,
life.
and also putting up the action steps to because you can know what motivates you, but you have still taken the action steps of calling your mother once a week, of spending time with your
Exactly.
girlfriend, spending time with your friends. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
that's so awesome.
the one thing is to actually know exactly where your motivation comes from. That's always with things you want to change in life. You have to acknowledge and like see how the current situation is
Yeah,
and what needs to be done to change this current situation into a how do you say this, wanted situation.
yeah, yeah,
Or and if you know that, you can make the action steps to make it work.
yeah,
And just follow it,
exactly.
and that's it.
Yeah,
So I went from being in line to stepping out of line, but now I'm back in line and heading straight towards my goals.
yeah. That's so awesome to hear, and I think it's also yeah, perfect end for this conversation because what I want people to get away from what you've just said, it's not just about optimizing your health. And sure, it's very important because that, like, without, I see it as the foundation. If you haven't optimized your health, then you will have dips in energy, you will have a lack of mental clarity, and things just won't feel as nice. But the thing is, what I see most of biohackers do is that they're just optimizing health. Whereas health is not the only thing, right? You see, I don't know, Elon Musk, I don't think he lives that healthy of a lifestyle, but he has a very big purpose that motivates him, that drives him. and that gives him a lot of energy. So it's very important to, like, aside from all the health optimization that we did, is to also focus on what actually motivates you, what drives you, and to get back into that same flame. Because even if you don't do, and I'm not supposed to say this as a health coach, but even if you don't do all the health habits, but you know exactly what your motivation, your purpose is, you might as well have more energy than the person that is fully biohacked, but that doesn't have a purpose, doesn't know what he wants to do. So if you combine those two, which you did, then you really get on
Yeah, it's
this
insane.
yeah, this upward trajectory. Yeah,
So just a small thing.
yeah,
Remember when we did the health optimizations? I was like, "Whoa, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling better." You were checking in, like, "How are you feeling?" I
yeah,
was like, "Yeah, I'm feeling better. I feel energetic," and that was it. But when we did the motivation tweak, like the motivation talk, like, where does your motivation come from?
yeah.
Every time you checked in on me and was like, "Yo, how are you feeling?" The only answer I gave you, right, was like, "Yo, I'm completely flipped upside down." You know,
Yeah,
that's the only answer I gave you every time.
yeah,
So I think that made more impact on me
yeah,
than the health optimization. But I couldn't have felt it this strong without the health optimization.
yeah, yeah.
So it's an
Yeah.
escalation of
Yeah, you both need it. They
exactly.
work in tandem, and that's also what I see is when you put the mindset stuff together with the health optimization stuff. That's when you really get that boom, that surge in energy, and that's yeah, the most important thing. Awesome, man.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe a final thing. Is there anything we didn't talk about that you would like to share with the audience that you learned or results that you've gotten? Otherwise, we'll end it here. Yeah,
No, I think I just want to tell all the other entrepreneurs or starting entrepreneurs, to, maybe bigger entrepreneurs, that, like, don't be scared to invest in yourself, because basically from what I've experienced, by investing in myself, making sure that I know what I put into my body, I'm actually laying the foundation for myself to become wealthy and live a happy life. If something bad happens to me, then I can tell to myself, like, "Yo, it's okay. I've tried my best to
yeah,
make it work." You know, I
yeah,
have not been lacking or on myself. So next to making money, like your health and especially having mental clarity, no
yeah,
stress and just being.
yeah, yeah.
That's so important, so important. So
Yeah,
please.
yeah, yeah, man. Sharon, I wanna
Cool.
yeah, thank you a lot for doing this interview with me.
Thanks for having me.
Um, yeah, I think it was a brilliant interview for the people watching. If you have some action steps that you got out of the interview, so maybe something you want to implement in your life, or you want to know more about the 4 M's of motivation, go search for it, go implement it in your life, because the transformation doesn't really happen in you hearing this interview. It happens in you actually taking the action, changing something in your life. So without further ado, I will end this interview here. Sherwin, thanks for your time, and I'll see you in the next one.